Alex Hormozi is arguably one of the most influential business minds in the world right now and has dropped some serious knowledge. But how do we apply this in one of the most competitive niches in the world? That's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Number 4, create a business model that makes money with $0. So what I would do is I would make sure that you use Facebook ads net 30 stage. And with the net 30 stage, you don't have to, just like anything with net 30, right? You can use the money up front and not have to pay it until the back 30. So what can you do knowing that you have a successful business model, or even if you don't have a successful business model, how can you run ads right now where you can generate the money back same day or within the first 30 days? So if you can get that customer to buy again. So a couple of things you need to have in place. 1, good content creation and running ads. What I would do is I would start running Facebook ads with really good content, and with that content would generate sales. And then at the end of the month, once I've already generated those sales, my money will be taken out from Facebook. I don't have to worry about paying that money. So what you need to do is create really good content. Then you need to set up your ads and follow one of the videos that we created on how to run Facebook ads. And then at that point, make sure that you have your email and SMS set up so you can collect all the email addresses and SMS to get those people to purchase, and figure out, okay, what is a run rate that I could use to spend over 30 days to acquire enough customers to get them to come back where I at least break even. The goal is, how do you at least break even? So if you're gonna spend $1,500, how do you make $1,500 back? If you have a $50 average order value, how do you reverse engineer to that? How many sales do you need per day so that you can make that happen? And you can literally spend no money of your own to acquire the customer to break even. Email and SMS and those other things to generate more revenue down the line, we'll talk about later in the video. But this will get you to where it's a break-even point and it does not cost you a dime. Number 3, create content and build an actual brand. Alex does a really good job of this over time, and I think that he gave example of Warren Buffett whenever he was talking about this. He says the difference in price that a brand can charge compared to the competitors is the brand. So the difference in price that a brand can charge compared to competitors, to generic brands, the difference between there, the gap, is the actual difference in how much a brand is able to charge, right? So because of those, they can charge more. So Lululemon can charge more, Nike can charge more, not because they are much better, honestly, they're probably not, but because of their name they've built and the brand that they've built over time. So as you are able to create content consistently to build trust, as you're able to put your messaging out there to have a very clear message, all of those things are going to start compounding to create an actual brand. If you can focus on a micro niche, I would say be number 1 in an area, right? Be the number 1 clothing store for X, Y, and Z. For women who are in their 40s, who happen to be Christians, who live in a small town. For the clothing brand who is both based out of Fort Worth, Texas, who happens to focus on Christians and a children's clothing line. Like, get super niche and get very consistent with the messaging and become the number 1 in that space. If you can do that, you're going to start to build brand and people will perceive you as a higher quality. We had a client of ours who was a head wrap company, and every single person and their dog was creating these on Etsy, but she was labeled as the first, the original, and hers were bigger because they were in Texas. And guess what? They became desirable, and she built a very successful business on it. But to be honest, it's the same stuff that everybody else has. It's the same stuff that everybody else does. There's nothing fancy about putting a bow in your head. You probably, if you have a kid or a daughter specifically rather, then you've probably had a bow in their head, but you may not have paid as much as what you did to find one of these brands because the brand has charged more money, but they're exact same product, the exact same quality. Some people have done bigger bows now, but the point is, this is now the original. This is the number 1, and because of it, instead of charging $3 or $4 for a bow, she charges $12, $14, $16, and she gets that markup. Same type of thing, right? The margin is larger, but because she's built brand, she can charge more and it warrants more. In down times and in good times, charging more will allow more margin, but also the brand allows you to have the longevity to basically squash all the competition. So think about that and build the brand. I think that's one of the biggest things that we've ever learned from Alex, is that the brand trumps everything, and you can't spend your way out of a problem with the advertisement. All right, so number 2 is, I'm going to label it as inversion thinking. So Alex was actually referencing Charlie Munger when he was talking about this. And he was talking about, Charlie was talking about this inversion thinking, the talks that Charlie would do with how to create a miserable life. You actually think about the ways that your life would be miserable if you did these things, and then you would put them into reverse, right? So to have a miserable life, what would you do? You would cheat on your wife. You wouldn't take care of your kids. All these things that would lead a miserable life. So then you look at them in reverse and say, I would be faithful to my wife. I would spend time with my kids. And you do those things, it becomes easier to think about. So how can you create inversion thinking for your brand? Ask yourself these questions because I think it'll become easier for them. Howdy y'all. For those who don't know me, I'm Eric Pearson, and alongside my business partner Christian, we own Bit Branding, an e-commerce agency that helps clothing stores grow profitably online. Thank you so much for watching. All right, so questions you should be asking yourself. How would my clothing store never get a sale on Facebook? How would you do that? You would probably never post. You would probably never actually create content or value to get eyeballs on it. It's what we think about that. How would I never get a repeat customer, right? You would probably have really bad shipping. Your packaging would be horrible. Your customer service would absolutely be atrocious. That is how you would never get a repeat customer. Quality of product would be horrible. How could I never make a profit? Spending too much money on ads. How can I never make a profit? Not understanding your numbers. Just thinking that, hey, I have a business and I made this much money and don't understand where your money's going. Not using something like Profit First to actually generate revenue. You never look at that book ever. What's the best way for me to go out of business? Well, the best way for you to go out of business is to never care about the customers, to stop creating content, or thinking that you can create a business without creating content. All of those things would probably put you out of business. So think about them in reverse, right? I know it's starting to get you to think about things a little bit differently, but all of these questions will be easier to think about them, like I said, in reverse, because it's so obvious that way. Sometimes we try to solve the problem head on when really it should be from the behind to the front. As you're going through a business and you have problems right now, think about how would I not solve this problem? How would I not fix these things? And I would not do this. I would not do this. And then you start to figure out those are actually the reverse of the solution. So if you're a clothing store who wants to start to generate results like this, then check out our free training on the 5 areas to profitably grow your clothing store. Check out the link in the description for more info. All right, so number one, probably one of the biggest areas that Alex has taught us over time, and I think it's shown throughout with his videos because he's doing it while talking about it as well, is organic marketing is the only compounding asset that you have in your business. But we do not have our customers refer us to their friends and family, right? Or those people, again, we will not continue to grow. Remember, if you stopped marketing through ads or content creation and your business dried up, you actually do not have a business. Okay, so one of the examples that Alex gives is that if you only had one customer left and that one customer, it was the only way that you could grow your business, you would make sure that you took care of that customer because that customer is going to tell their friends. It compounds. So that friend tells one friend, who tells 2 friends, who tells 3 friends, who tells 5 friends, who tells 10 friends, and the compounding effect, it adds up. With ads, right, those are great ways to acquire new customers, but the problem is, if that original customer doesn't tell somebody else, then you just paid basically break even, or maybe you made a little bit of profit to get them to purchase the first time. But if they don't come back again or they don't tell friends, then it's become an endless game of marketing where if ad cost goes up, your content creation goes down, the economy goes down, you're actually going to lose money. Organic marketing is the only thing that continues to compound. Think about how many times that you've purchased from a Lululemon or a Nike or a Jordan or Patagonia. Any of those brands, right? They've been shown by other people. They've worn the products. Their friends have said and talked about the quality, right? Whether it's a running shoe that they're talking about for Nike or whether it's a really cool Patagonia jacket, the people have talked about the quality and now there's desire for it. And Patagonia doesn't have to run ads for it to generate more sales. A really good example of this is Supreme. They don't run any actual ads. It literally is notoriety, word of mouth, and just really good influencer marketing to get out in front of more people. It's compounding, and it's done it over time, and now it's turning into millions of dollars per year. I actually think they're doing hundreds of millions of dollars per year. So that's the compounding effect of organic marketing. How can you do it for yourself on an even smaller scale and build over time? All right, so my main takeaway for you is that you must go and figure out what the problems in your business are, reverse engineer those, go and figure out how you can create content for an audience who will refer you and take care of them. And please, please make sure that you are creating an asset in your business that will have a compounding effect because that's the only way you're going to stay in business. Also, P.S., make sure you do go check out the book Profit First. I think it's a huge asset for you in your business. It'll be very, very helpful. If you're looking for the next video to grow your clothing store, make sure you go watch this video right here next. All right, y'all, that's it for this video. Have a great rest of your day and make sure that you subscribe.